Hello, this is Daniel Plays. My name is Daniel and welcome to yet another Minecraft video in which we're going to be taking a look at some of the best Minecraft video settings for Minecraft 1.16.4. That's right, today we're going to be taking a look at the best settings for Minecraft 1.16.4 to actually get more FPS, get rid of some lag spikes, and make the overall experience in Minecraft 1.16.4 a lot better. Before we get into it though, if you're into Minecraft videos like these or videos about shader packs, texture packs, and mods, you name it, then be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. Also, I've been getting a couple of questions about setting up a Patreon, so I set up a Patreon page. Be sure to check out the link in the description to the Patreon page. Also, check out my Instagram page where I do Minecraft builds, and I'm almost done. We also have a Minecraft server which is play.danielplays.net. Use the IP address that is on the screen right now or will be down in the description to join the server. So let's optimize Minecraft's video settings in just a few minutes. To get started, load up your Minecraft launcher. Make sure to go over to installations and select the one that says 1.16.4. If you don't have one, create a new one. I'm going to name this one DP Daniel Plays. You can name it whatever you want. Under version here, select latest release 1.16.4. And if that's not the latest release anymore, then just scroll down a little bit until you find release 1.16.4. Click that. We're not done just yet. Click more options down here because we are going to be allocating some more RAM to Minecraft to make it run smoother just by not even changing any video settings at all. You want to actually change this second line and then the first argument right there, which says XMX2G. 2G actually means 2 GB of RAM will be allocated to Minecraft. So if you only have 4 GB of RAM in your system, be sure not to increase this number. But if you have 6 or maybe even 8, for 6 I would recommend something like 3 GB. For 8, even 4, and if you have 12, then I would recommend going with 6. Anything beyond 6 GB won't really make sense. You'll only notice that if you just have a ton of mods in Minecraft, but I assume you're not actually doing that. So I'm going to change this to 6 since I have 16 GB of RAM, but like I said, don't allocate too much RAM to Minecraft. It will make your computer slow and Minecraft slow as well. And once you're done, actually click create right here. Now you have your profile that actually has more RAM than the default profile. So on that profile, click play. So here we are in a Minecraft 1.16.4 survival world. This is single player. Now let's take a look at the FPS that we're currently getting. Do note I have a pretty good system. The PC specifications will be down in the description if you'd like to compare your PC to my PC. If you actually press F3, you can see the amount of FPS you're currently getting, which for me is 60, which does indicate that I have a setting enabled that actually locks my FPS to 60. Now to actually access and change your video settings, go into the game menu using escape. Click options and then video settings, and right here this is where the video settings are. So let's go over all these settings really quickly to just show you what the best settings are for your low-end system. So the first one is full screen resolution, and this is actually something that you're going to want to try as a last resort. So imagine all of these settings that we're going to be changing don't work very well. I do recommend that after improving all of these settings, you do actually play Minecraft in full screen, which will make it run a little bit better than in windowed mode, and it will get rid of some of the input lag. But if actually your native full screen resolution, say it's 1080p like for me, you can actually reduce it to 720p or something even lower to get more FPS. In return, you will get lower quality graphics, but you will actually get a lot more FPS. So Biome Blend is the first actual video setting, and it says here that it's set to very high. Biome Blend is pretty much, you know how swamp biomes have a different grass color than, for example, plains, and when they actually meet, you can see that the colors kind of blend. Well, if you turn this off, this will be the fastest option for your FPS, but you will no longer have that smooth blending of the biome, so it will look a little weird at first, but once you get used to it, you will actually be able to play Minecraft with some more FPS. Graphics is pretty straightforward. It's set to fancy, and as of 1.16, if I remember properly, there's also fabulous. Go set it to fast, which will do some things that it will actually tell you what it will do, but the most notable thing is probably that leaves will no longer be transparent. Now smooth lighting, I would recommend just turning that off. VSync, I always recommend to turn this off. Some people say turn it on. The only case in which I would say turn this on is when you have great FPS, so you can easily get over 100 FPS, but you cannot actually play Minecraft without lag spikes. In that case, I would recommend turning it on, but for the rest of the scenarios, so just a regular low-end PC, just turn this off. GUI scale doesn't do anything but just resize the GUI. Then brightness also doesn't do anything. Full screen, like I said, I do recommend going full screen after adjusting all of these settings if you didn't play in full screen already. Mip-map levels is one of those settings that crashes my client most of the time, even though I have a pretty good PC. So I do recommend not changing this setting because it will also not do much for your FPS. For some people it does, but for me it doesn't even affect my FPS. So that's why I say just don't touch that setting, just leave it alone. And you know, if you're desperate for some extra FPS, go test it out for yourself. But I don't recommend changing that setting. So the next two settings are called distortion effects and field of view effects. The field of view effects is one that's pretty obvious. You know, when you sprint and you zoom out a little bit, that's pretty much the field of view effect. It has to do with the speed of your character. So if you're flying, it will also zoom out a little bit, if I remember properly. But if you don't want that to happen and you want less changes so your PC might be able to keep up with it better, then be sure to turn that off. Same goes for distortion effects, which is like when you enter a nether portal, for example, the screen will wobble a little bit, and it will no longer do that if you turn off this setting. The next one is pretty much the most important setting there is in Minecraft, which is render distance, which literally determines how many chunks ahead of you will be rendered, and also around you, I believe. So setting this to something like 10 chunks will mean that all around you, you will have to render 10 chunks. So you can actually see 10 chunks ahead. Now, this will be pretty taxing. This setting is the most taxing setting on your system. So be sure to reduce it to gain a lot of FPS, but what you'll get in return is that you can't see as far into the distance. So 6 chunks pretty much works for many PCs. So if you actually feel like, you know, this doesn't work very well and you still need more FPS, give 4 chunks a try. As you can see in game, this is what it's going to look like. It's still very playable, as you can see. You can still see somewhat far into the distance. There is one more thing that you can do if you actually still need more FPS, and that is reduce it to 2 chunks, which will look a little weird. I mean, I can barely even see past this river right here, as you can see, but my FPS will be really, really high at this point because Minecraft barely has to render anything. So the next setting is max frame rate, and I recommend to set this to unlimited. View bobbing is this effect that if you walk, your screen tilts a little bit, as if your Minecraft character is actually walking. And if you turn that off, it will be more stable. It will look very static when you walk. It's almost as if you're sliding across the floor, which is really weird. I hope you kind of get what I'm saying here. I recommend turning this off if you want, you know, as little variation in your frames as possible. Make it as stable as possible. So the attack indicator doesn't really do anything. It just changes the location where the attack indicator is displayed. Clouds is something that Minecraft has to render for you, so you should set this to off if you need FPS. Particles is another one of those settings, but for this one you can't turn it off. If you'd like to turn it off, you can't. All you can do is set it to either decreased or minimal, in which case minimal is the best setting. Entity shadows, if you're not sure what that is, let me grab one of these sand blocks right here and drop it. As you can see, it shows a little entity shadow underneath this block. Now you can probably imagine that if you have a ton of blocks lying around on the ground in Minecraft, you will get a ton of entity shadows, which can cause lag. So just turn this off if you want to make sure that entity shadows cannot cause lag. And then entity distance, which by default I believe is set to 100, I'm not sure. What this will do is actually not show or even think about entities that are far away from you. So what this will do, you should set this to 50%, which is the lowest. It will actually not even make fish appear until you're very, very close. So this is the moment of truth. What I would like to do, well, first of all, I'm going to show you once more what the best video settings are. These should be the best video settings for a low-end PC, also for a high-end PC. They're just the best video settings for the most FPS. Now let's get back into Minecraft. Press F3, and just there, it was saying that I had 1400 FPS. Do note that if you press F3 and open up this overlay, it will cost FPS. So you'll have more FPS without this F3 overlay, just like that, than with the overlay like that. It just jumped from 1380 something to 500, almost 600 now, which goes to show that this menu actually is kind of taxing the system as well, I guess. That's been it for this video. This has been a very quick tutorial on how to make Minecraft run way better, specifically Minecraft 1.16.4. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit that thumbs up. I would sincerely appreciate that. And of course, let me know down below how many FPS you managed to gain using the video settings I showed you in this video. Once again, be sure to check out the links down below in the description to my Patreon, to my Instagram page where I do builds. And also be sure to hit that big red subscribe button if you want to see more of these kind of videos pop up on your homepage regularly. And without further ado, I will of course, as always, catch you in the next one. See ya!